So, a very warm welcome to all you wonderful listeners of Plus 91 Media. My name is Sandeep Gulati, and I'm the founder of the organization. Bringing to you, you've seen us with a lot of educators throughout, in the past years. Now we are turning a new chapter in our playbook. We are starting off with the CXO Leadership Series presented by the Plus 91 Media, where we'll be talking about technology and its implementations in the enterprise zone, in the series that will be followed in this amazing scene. So the first guest that we have for today, has an illustrious career. He's been he had worked with Cisco. He'd been a part of the team of IT. He'd been from IT Jodhpur. He's also the member of National Communication Security Working Group, Government of India. He's now heading his own, one of the India's topmost SD-SWAN service provider companies in India, software-defined wide area network. Dr. Mohit Saxena, who's the co-founder and CTO at the Infinity Lab. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us for this amazing interview and being the first guest for the CXO Leadership Series. So before we move ahead and, ask you, some really interesting questions that we have for you today, I would like you to first, give a brief about your organization, what do you do, and how does this journey start for you?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Sandeep. So I was part of one of the networking giants, US-based networking giants, and while working with them, we were able to solve multiple problems, and also we could see a few problems within the country, within the ecosystem, within our customers that were yet to be solved, and there were very feeble solutions available because most of the multinationals of the West think West as one of the key priorities while designing a product, and there is nothing wrong about it because this is the game of economies, and if 80% or 70 to 80% of the revenues of any company from the West is coming through that geographical area. So of course, anyone would always take the requirements from those areas as the key priority while designing the product. So we decided to kind of start on our own. Me and my senior, who was MD for the company, Shri Rakesh Goyalji. We started Infinity Labs as one of the Make in India Indian communication and cybersecurity technology company, where we thought that we will try to listen to the customers and understand what are the problems on the ground, and we'll try to solve the problems rather than bringing and pasting a product that and claim that this will solve all your problems without even knowing what are the problems on the ground. So with that noble vision, we started this, and most of the technologies we kind of adopted are indigenous. We have researched and filed IPRs, filed patents for those technology, and all in country. So we have got communication products like SD-WAN, which is one of the leading Make in India SD-WANs with the brand name of Infinext. Then we have got an L7 next generation firewall under the brand name of InfiWall. We have got a network management platform under the name InfiWorks, and we have got a threat intelligence platform as well under the name InfiTip. So those are some of our products, and we have, by God's grace, we have got good traction from the government with the push towards Make in India policy, preference to Make in India policy. Though there are hurdles here and there, but yes, we have got good install base, and we are proud to say that we have been able to power and secure very critical infrastructure of the country, of the nation. So we are creating the products from India for the world.
Very nice. So, one just small question before the main line of questions that I have prepared for you is, what are the sectors that you're presently targeting, or I'm sure that there would be a lot of because the product fit is such that it will be very very prominent with all the sectors, including the education. But what is it that you as a co-founder, as a technology organization, do you think is the key focus for your organization?
Sure. So, first of all, the central government organizations, the PSUs, are one of the primary focus. Then we also focus on various state government organizations, law enforcement agencies like policing and district administration, land records, oil and gas sector, power sector, like so many discoms are our customers. Then we also are targeting the fintech and the banking sector. There's so many banks who are also running on our SD-WAN. FMCG and retail is another sector which we are targeting, because SD-WAN is a product which secures the communication and also democratize it and makes it much more affordable for the organizations. And also at the same time, it gives a lot of flexibility. So whichever organization has a distributed presence, we are having a solution for all of them.
Correct. Very nice, sir. So, since you've been catering to a lot of these sectors, in fact, some of these sectors are completely opposite. When it comes down to the state government or law enforcement or PSU, and when you compare it with banks and FMCG or maybe manufacturing. As a CTO, Dr. Mohit, working closely with the enterprise networks and infrastructure, what are the biggest technology shifts that you have noticed, in and how organizations are designing their IT and network architecture today? Is the first question that we wanted to ask you.
Sure. Thanks for the question. So, actually, we are witnessing three foundational shifts. So, the first is that most of the organizations are moving from perimeter-based security to a kind of platform-based or an architectural-based security, where identity, context, and device posture defines the access, and it's not merely the location which would define the access. Second point is that enterprises are now hybrid by design, because of we were hit by COVID. There are people working from anywhere. So most of the organizations are hybrid by design. They are using multi-cloud, edge, and on-prem environments, which are architected as integrated ecosystem rather than bolt-on expansion. So we are also kind of moving towards, or I would say we didn't have much of past baggage, so it becomes very easy for us to become cloud native from day one, and that's where we are helping organizations to cater to this hybrid by design architectural shift, which is prevalent in the market. Then third, the networking is becoming software defined and policy driven. It's more of intents which are written in the software. Centralized orchestration and automation are replacing the static hardware boundary designs. So the network is no longer just connectivity infrastructure, but it has become a strategic digital control layer. So those are some of the architectural shifts which we are seeing in the market.
Very nice, sir. In fact, as you mentioned that because of the Make in India program, we have suddenly seen a lot of private sectors suddenly taking a lot of boom, going for the IPOs, expanding like, really well. and it is good for the economy, good for the institutions, good for the country as well. But some of these organizations are still struggling with the legacy infrastructure while trying to scale, basically, and to you need to have a modernized infrastructure to scale. That is a no-brainer that we obviously know. And to try, and while trying to scale at securely and effectively, because whether it is data threats or cyber attacks and all of these things, and since you're doing that, uh, what are the most common challenges enterprises are facing when modernizing their network and data center environment?
Sure. So, the most common challenges which we see here, which the organizations are facing, are first is like deep technical debts from age-old technologies like MPLS heavy and appliance-centric architectures. And again, the second one would be security blind spots during hybrid transitions, because the transition has to be, it's inevitable. Then the third would be multi-vendor complexity leading to operational inefficiencies. And this is one of the major challenges, like over a period of over a long period, people are getting different OEM, different vendor equipments in their ecosystem, and then it becomes a heterogeneous environment, which is very, very difficult and complex to manage. Then skill gap and cloud native networking and cybersecurity are some other challenges which the organizations are facing, because they do not have that kind of skill set to manage the latest and greatest defense against the evolving cyber threats. Then modernization today requires architectural rethinking, not just hardware replacement. The key here is to build agility without compromising on control.
Correct, correct. And you talked about, now that the enterprises were expanding, and now there is a sudden shift in the policy of the organization per se, that we have to be equipped with all of these technologies, and especially the one that you're catering to, the SD-WAN adoption is growing absolutely rapidly amongst the enterprises, that we've all agreed. From your experience, how is SD-WAN transforming enterprises' connectivity, security, and operational efficiency? And why don't you share a couple of instances or an examples or case studies from your per se, that we can possibly see how did you as an organization helped the enterprise to overcome that particular hurdle?
Sure. So SD-WAN, as we call, it's nothing but software-defined wide area network. So it is like democratizing the WAN connectivity. So the connections, the WAN links have become more or less like commodity now, and they are like a virtual fabric, because SD-WAN can work with any kind of WAN. So the immediate, I would say, benefits which the SD-WAN gives to the organization is, first, very important, is cost optimization. By reducing the dependency on MPLS through broadband or 5G integration, because earlier, for having secure connectivity, most of these organizations were only relying on MPLS connectivity, which is very, very expensive. So with the SD-WAN, they can get same or even better kind of security using an IPsec or an AES 256-bit encryption kind of overlay over a normal easy on pocket 5G connection or a broadband connection. Then second advantage which the SD-WAN gives to the organization is security and convergence. So by architecture itself, SD-WAN gives a secure overlay. That is one. Second, it is also embedding firewalling, IPS, IDS, segmentation, and encryption. So security is another big advantage which comes along with the SD-WAN. Then the third biggest advantage is centralized policy orchestration that simplifies multi-site management. I'll give you example of one of the state governments within the country where they wanted to centralize all their data to their state data center and make a DR site on the cloud. Again, a MITI approved cloud. Now, the current MPLS architecture was not allowing them to do that, and of course their opex was very heavy because each of the districts were having multiple connectivity requirements, and they were all running on MPLS. With our solution, they moved away from MPLS to, and MPLS also had a single link, and it was a single point of failure as well, because again, getting two MPLS links would have been very, very costly for the department. So there was a lot of downtime and things like that. So what they did was they chose SD-WAN, Make in India SD-WAN from Infinity Labs as the solution. And with that, they were able to move away from costly MPLS to cheaper broadband, and that too with redundancy. So they moved with, they went with two operators. So we were able to do the bandwidth aggregation for both the operators. Like if 10 Mbps is sought from operator A and 10 Mbps bandwidth is sought from operator B, we were able to club it and make it almost like 18 Mbps, not 20, because it's not a mathematical plus operation. So we were able to aggregate that bandwidth. We were able to provide them resiliency. We were able to provide them security, and also prioritize the traffic which was going towards the cloud, so that they can have one of the DR sites on the cloud. And our solution is also available in virtual form factor as well. So the solution was very much cloud friendly. So one of the SD-WANs sat on the cloud and was able to manage a secure 100% end-to-end secure connectivity from all the district offices to the state data center and to the cloud and to the NIC data center, because some of the applications were running through NIC. So the department was very happy, and they were able to reduce their operational cost to 1/3. And the return on investment was kind of within a year and a half, they were able to get the return on, means the TCO was already done within a year and a half for the project. So that's the kind of benefits which different departments reap by implementing SD-WAN.
Oh, very nice. Also, one of the biggest challenges that a lot of state governments faces is the downtime that you clearly mentioned. When it comes down to, because there are a lot of policies, that a state government goes ahead and gives for the whether it is the center approved policy or the state approved policy to the citizens. So so with this, again, just as a layman, was there a betterment in the downtime, or how it happened, and were there feedback that you've gotten from the department, from that state government, that that has been reduced, and that created a better output for them?
Oh, it was a wow kind of experience which the citizens got, and that was the feedback which was passed on to us by the officers there. Because in the earlier days, when only single link was there, and that too, these offices were at remote areas where if something goes down, the offices, the actual government work used to stay suspended for a fortnight at a stretch, like 15 days at a stretch. The office could not function, and now there is kind of dual redundancy, and also they've got alternate power sources from UPS and things like that. With that, the downtime has reduced a lot, and now even if there is a big failure because of heavy rain or lightning or things like that, still they are able to bring the services back up within a few hours, rather than having the offices closed for 2 weeks at a stretch. So it has been a kind of wonderful experience all through.
Correct. Now, moving on, sir, Dr. Mohit, apart from, once we've talking about the security as well, uh, the next big challenge I think that everybody faces, especially the enterprises are facing, is the rising security threats. And with rising security threats and distributed work environments, how has the role of a CTO evolved in ensuring both innovational security across enterprise infrastructure? How do you think that that has changed for you?
So before I go to the role of the CTO, I would want to quote a small thing which I keep on saying whenever I get a chance, that security has to be fundamental. It can never be reactive, and it has to be embedded in each and every product, in each and every solution. We can never ever think of having the security in the second thought. We have to get the security implemented from day zero. And of course, the CTO today must balance all of three of these roles simultaneously, as per my thoughts. The first role is the architect of digital resilience. The CTO has to be the sole architect of resilience and business continuity. Then he has to be the custodian of cyber risk, and the third role, which would be driver of innovation velocity, because all the features, all the new market asks, the ask from the customers, what runs good in the country, what doesn't run good, all those things have also to be decided by the CTO and implemented by the CTO. So, innovation without embedded security introduces systematic risk, and conversely, excessive conservation also will slow down the competitiveness. Now, the modern CTO integrates security into architecture designs and automate the compliance, and also aligns technology investments with business appetite. So that is the role of CTO, which has kind of grown a lot from the previous days when the CTO only used to handle the tech decisions. So it is now
Correct.
more or less like a CTSO, which is like Chief Technology and Security
And
Officer.
security. Correct.
Correct.
Now, when it comes down, we've been talking about, the CTO being the driver of innovation reality. That brings up to our next question is, especially you being the CTO of the organization and co-founder, from a leadership perspective, how do you balance innovation with operational stability when implementing new technologies across enterprise environments? Because what happens is, the technology is changing so fast today that there are only certain things that you can, everybody would have. There would be budgetary constraints. There could be how much technology that one can innovate. So how do you balance that, if you're looking from a leadership perspective?
Sure. So it has to be a fine balance which has to be established, and it is a known fact that feature velocity is inversely proportional to operational stability. So the more you would kind of expedite the feature velocity, the operational stability will go for a toss. And the more you go for operational velocity, the operational stability, the feature velocity will go for a toss. So we follow a very structured approach here. So we do a lot of pilot innovation in control environments like sandboxes. Then we deploy in phase rollouts, and of course, before the rollout, we have the rollback strategies as well in place. Then implement observability framework before scaling any change. So it's like very, very simple but detailed approach in terms of running the pilot, observing, and in case required, rollback. So
Robert.
that is how we are kind of striking a good balance between feature velocity and operational stability.
Correct. Now, when we're talking about the future, this is when it comes down to technology today. It's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. But still, I'm going to ask you the next question: is how, looking ahead, maybe say 3 to 5 years from now, what are the key technology trends do you believe will redefine enterprise networking and infrastructure? Because as you said in the previous when I asked you previous questions as well, that the policy has to be driven, the infrastructure has to be made. So the infrastructure cannot keep on changing because of obviously the costs involved. So especially when it comes down to the state government, because the kind of data that they have, and the increasing population challenges that they face, or maybe any manufacturing industry or a service industry who's suddenly got into IPO, suddenly expanded, suddenly got a boom, and the industry expanded. How what is it that you would advise the current CTOs of the of various organizations to look at when it comes down to for the next 3 to 5 years, about the trends in the networking and infrastructure that they should invest in?
Sure. So uh, the key trends which I can foresee as of now in coming 3 to 5 years would be the first one. Of course, it's a no-brainer. It's an AI-driven automation. So
Absolutely.
AI will be kind of making the self-healing networks and automating the log correlations and so many use cases. So that is a no-brainer. Then zero trust as a default enterprise architecture is another trend which is already which is started, and I know one of my colleagues who always used to write in his email signatures that in God we trust and rest everything we virus scan. So that's the kind of zero trust which is going to be prevalent everywhere. Then the third would be convergence of networking and security through SASE models. So SASE models is like thin edge, but your security and other stuff can sit on the cloud, so that you send the traffic from your CP device to the cloud, then you scrub it and then send it to wherever its final destination is. Then post-quantum cryptography integration is another, I would say, a new trend which is going to come up, because uh, with the current advent in technology, it is very clear that quantum computing is no more a fiction. It is going to be reality very soon, and we are very much, guzzling towards the quantum era. So post-quantum cryptography becomes very much important, as the adversaries right now are making use of this harvest now and decrypt later strategy, where they're collecting all the encrypted traffic in the hard drives, and later on, once they get their hands on a quantum computer which can run Shor's algorithm and can tear apart our current cryptography like RSA and ECC, they can get the actual data maybe in a couple of years' time. So post quantum cryptography is another trend. Then secure edge micro data centers is another trend which is going to come up in next 3 to 5 years, and we have to look for it. Enterprise infrastructure will become more predictive, policy driven, and cryptographically very, very strong in coming 3 to 5 years, as per me.
Very nice. So the future lies in the technology implementation, and I think that is an imperative uh, thing that we'll have to adopt. So Moving on, having all these technologies, what advice would you like to share with the CIOs, CTOs, CSI, CISOs who are currently navigating digital transformation and building future-ready technology infrastructure? Top five things that a CTO or CIO should do, according to you, when it comes down to implementing what technology at what speed, is what we wanted to ask.
Well, my advice would be that digital transformation must be architectural and never incremental. So, we should design for crypto agility. That is one. Invest in automation and observability. That is second and very important, because you can only take actions on things which are known to you or which you can see. The things which you cannot see or know, it's very difficult to take actions on. Then prioritize resilience over speed alone. That is another very important point. And build internal technical capabilities rather than outsourcing strategic intelligence. This is very, very important. And I've seen a lot of government organizations as well, which have kind of started, investing into make in India technologies and preferring make in India technologies, because as we all know, the kind of geopolitical scenarios which we see every day in the news, it becomes really, really a challenge if we are all running all our communication and cryptographic algorithms on foreign technologies, because that dependence has to stop. That dependence has to get lowered down, and one day has to finish. Because if we own the code, if we have indigenous technologies for making our communication secure, then only we will be able to contribute, and we will be able to materialize this vision of Viksit Bharat by 2047, because communication is the lifeline for any development.
Correct. Absolutely. Also, wanted to, now moving on towards the end of the questions that I have for you, is, we spoke about, how you, from a really big organization, for an organization, you started your own. I just want you to throw some light on, Infinity Lab obviously has developed its own SD-WAN and firewall solutions. We would like to know about the motivation factors that you had to build it indigenously, and how do you see India's role in developing enterprise grade network products, especially? So how do you see that it will change, and what is it that you're really excited about when it comes down to the technology of the future?
Sure. So the motivation was strategic. Critical infrastructure cannot rely entirely on imported control planes. This is kind of very, very clear to us. Indigenous development ensures transparency, customization, and alignment with national security and regulatory requirements, which is the need of the hour as of now. Means we have seen this even in the past, in the latest Operation Sindoor time as well, that the communication security and alignment with national security becomes how critical. India has the talent pool, the market scale, and strategic imperative to move from being primarily a service economy to become a product and IP powerhouse in enterprise networking. And we are bullish on this. We have been bullish on this, and that was one of the core driving factors. Then why can't we? Why do we always have to import, or we always have to do the service part? Why can't we create our own IPs? Why can't we have our own technology? Why can't we become technology owners rather than just doing the post de facto service for technical assistance or things like that? So the next decade will define whether we remain consumers of deep tech platform or become creators of them. And I'm sure we would go with the latter imperative.
Uh, you know, Dr. Mohit, we interacted before the interview as well. So I'm so resonated because I can connect the dots because we do a lot of conferences and talk to a lot of educators, a lot of industry experts as well. So it becomes, I mean, as we were discussing earlier as well, that when I had this discussion with the IT director or from the,
Yeah.
that it is as I told you, it is easier to get into the institutions like MIT, Harvard, and it is very difficult to get into IIMs and IITs. Now, when you're
Hmm.
looking at the technology kind of an implementation, whether you talk about Facebook, you talk about any other bigger platforms, that all come from university dropouts. I mean, they use their infrastructure. In fact, Microsoft, for the matter of fact, use the university infrastructure to and their knowledge, the professors' knowledge, to build their products. Uh, when it comes down to us, we are the ones who's looking towards the industry to teach to our students as well. What is the current trend that is happening? What should we teach, and what is the kind of a implementation that we have? We still don't have our own engine. So we are talking about technology and software and cyber security and all of these things. But when it comes down to hardcore mechanical per se as well, it is it that we still a lot of we are consumers to a lot of modern day technology. In fact, not only modern day, in fact the older age technologies, building an engine, building something, a social media platform for the country, whether it is looking at software solutions, cyber security solutions, data center. We have all talked about how Google is planning to invest so many dollars or billions of dollars in India. Why can't we have a what do you think is a challenge that we as Indians face when it comes down, because there is no company in the world that can run without an Indian in it. We're very sharp minds. We develop products for most of the organization. In fact, Bill Gates was the one who said that the moment you stop calling Indians to US, we'll have to shift the head office of Microsoft to
They
India,
will build
so
another
that
Microsoft
we
in
could
India.
make. Yes, so that was way back in 2000. I mean, in early 2000s, that was the case. So we've always been providing intellect to the world. Why do you think that we're not still stuck at that particular phase, that and what do you think it will take? So when we had talked about, we are hosting world's largest AI summit in Delhi, but we still don't have an chat GPT for our own selves. China has already developed, Dubai has already, Middle East has already developed, and why are we not able to curate and bring that down for ourselves? What do you think is stopping us from building that kind of infrastructure or products per se?
So you've rightly put together a thought that Indians have been instrumental in the success stories of the biggest IT firms in the world, and that actually equates to the fact that there is no deficiency of gray matter here. We've got enough of gray matter to kind of create the best and the greatest of the technologies. But I think the problem is a bit foundational. And what the problem, as I foresee, is that in most of the Western world, the universities become the powerhouse for innovation, become the powerhouse for R&D, because the students there are very much motivated to take up research work and then productize them. Why? Because they are not bothered about getting to work and earn their daily bread. That has been taken care of, and the kind of I would say remuneration even the universities give, or even the companies give for a postdoctoral scholar or a PhD student is phenomenal. While in India, the situation is a bit different. Here, post the graduation, the person is actually fighting for roti, kapra, and makan. And if that fight has to happen, then the easiest way to succeed is to get employed with any such big firm and start developing for them, rather than taking the risk and of inventing, researching and developing on own. And also then there are policy framework challenges, like we have preference to make in India policy, which is very much fundamental to any development, any industrialization, or any kind of I would say encouragement to develop things in country. And that has happened in the US as well. That has happened in China as well. That government promotes local content, local manufacturing units, and also guarantees the consumption of those
Correct.
products within the government organizations. While in India, we have the Make in India, preference to Make in India policy, but sometimes we face this challenge that even the government departments itself would say that preference to Make in India, no. Then addition of they'll add restrictive clauses like you should be in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, or you should have this much turnover or this much past experience, even if the policy document from the central government says that you should not put any restrictive clauses for a class one Make in India supplier who is equivalent in quality and in technology. You should give preference, because if you will not encourage the production, why would people drop their quit their high paying jobs and take the risk and start investing in country, start developing and manufacturing in country? So those are
Absolutely.
some of the fundamental challenges. But again, are we progressing on these challenges? Yes, we are. And I am very hopeful and very positive about how things are moving ahead. I also recognize the fact that even the Rome was also not built in a day. So it takes
Correct.
time. While we are taking baby steps towards it, there are some hurdles, but there are some motivations as well. Like Make in India policy is one of the motivation for people like us to, keep
Correct.
developing, keep innovating, and trying to secure the communication for the country.
Absolutely, Moji. It has been imperative. The Make in India policy absolutely is instrumental in a lot of good things that are happening in India today, especially the startup eco culture that we have, uh, uh, that we have managed to build. The number of IPOs for new organizations, for startups that have gone. Uh, it has We have not seen that in ages, since the last 10-15 years that we've seen. It is the number of new companies pushing towards IPOs are tremendous. uh, and it was such a pleasure interacting with you, building a company from the scratch, doing a lot of research and innovation. And the way that the organization Infinity Labs has progressed, and I'm sure it speaks volume of the kind of experience that you have and the kind of risk that we have taken. Now we'll conclude by simply just pushing. We've spoken so much about how Infinity labs have grown. About we've spoken so much about the perimeter based to platform based solutions that the enterprise is moving on from. The security, which has to be fundamental, and each and every product and solution has to be standardized, that there should be zero leaks. So even if there is one leak at one point in time, the complete infrastructure could be compromised on. that we've all agreed on. We've spoken about how difficult or easy it is, or the kind of things that are there. We've spoken about what we have to look forward for in the next 3 to 5 years when it comes down to technology and its implementation. The kind of information and the kind of knowledge that you share, sir, is absolutely jaw dropping, and it's been an honor for you to be the first guest of our innovation series from Plus 91 Media. Thank you so much for joining in. It was a pleasure
Thank you
talking.
very much. It was a pleasure to be here, and would certainly love to contribute and collaborate in future as well.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. So, this was all it for the first episode of the CXO Leadership Series by Plus 91 Media. My name is Sandeep Gulati, and I'm the founder of the organization. Hope to see you all soon, bringing in another really prominent personality from the sector, uh, and showcasing where the future, when it comes down to technology, is holding for the country. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.